Okay, I'm going to show a few match starts. In a match, I like to be on a box because I'm only 5'2", as you can tell. The rules on these boxes, they call them risers, and the idea is that you're allowed to have your hip, or your waist really, it's where you hinge there, you're allowed to have that level with this 40-inch high table. It's the rules as simple as that. So everyone of any height is obliged, is in the right to have a riser, provided within certain rules. It's just to get your hip up. Once I'm up here, I've got several options. If I want to go straight into a traditional sort of top roll, my elbow's coming up. The idea is to afford room past the end of the table, and typically I'm trying to get the other guy in this position. Now you want to catch the other guy out. For a fast match start, it's not just about smooth technique, it's about literally height and diving in that direction. And all I'm thinking in a match, I'm not thinking about, a lot of people think it's tense. You'll run out of speed. If you want to be fast, essentially I'm getting on my tiptoes for top roll, so that when I dive, my feet go down, I'm going straight down, and all the speed is off of the ready go. So essentially I'm concentrating on relaxing and thinking of the ready go. All you want to do is think about going, and the second you hear a noise from the ref, it's ready go. As fast as you can. Equally, imagine ideally in most situations, in a match start, you want to hinge yourself off of the table. So ideally, if your body's touching the table, you can imagine you're a doll on a hinge. You imagine there's a dowel going through your stomach almost. Every position you can get off of that middle point. At least a lot of very useful fast starts. It's only when the other guy stops you that you need to be thinking about other things. So, for instance, if I wanted to do a hook and drag, or sometimes you're forced into a hook and drag, so I might go wallop, the other guy gets my wrist, and then I have to secure off of vertical in order to drag him out, or to go to a tricep press, in which case you have to be level with your arm. Starting for a hook in a match, I mean ideally for a fast one, you want to get your wrist at the same time that you're securing your position off of vertical. The idea being, you're closing in the gap between here and between here. Essentially, you're bringing him over to your side so that you can use mostly back power to get the other guy across. For a hook and drag fast one, you don't need to have the elbow out. Ideally, you can even rest your arm on here. So essentially it's the idea being that if the other guy takes me, because I'm tight, my hips up, the worst that can happen is I'm rotated out into a pulling position. Pulling position is a safe position. If I'm out here on a hook, there's rotation on the upper part of my arm, which is dangerous, especially if you're in a hook position. A lot of guys, because they're strong lads, they like to get inside, and they'll stand tall on their hook. That can be very dangerous in a sense, because if the other guy has a stronger hook than you, essentially you're in here, you rotate away, this is typical, and he's doing the same thing. There's only one way your bone can go, and that's in that direction. Ideally, you want to get some angle so that any adverse action on your arm is only going to open you out. The worst that can happen then is that your lever is opened. There's no bone breaks or anything like that. So you've got a fast top roll, you've got a fast hook. Some guys like to dump their wrist forwards, so this is some people almost deliberately do this to set up a drag. So what some guys, it's all on rotation. They'll dump their wrist. Essentially, they don't have to then secure the wrist like this. They just need to lean back in the setup, hands coming down. Essentially you're knocking out the other guy's top roll by setting up low on his hand, but you're still bringing a hand high. High hand position no matter where you start off. From that way you can literally rotate out. Rotate out. Some people dive towards the ground. I mean, some people almost nickname it a chicken wing as your wrist comes out. But you can literally, from that position, go sideways. So the difference to a normal one is that you're creating, but there's a drag opportunity. You're actually creating some shape on the pad. Is there any other one? Yeah, actually, if you're setting up low on the other guy's hand, again to cut out his top roll, you can also very easily come into a drag off that position. If you're on top of a drag from a high position, high shoulder position like that, again, because of the danger, a lot of people like to lock into their wrist like that. It's not advisable unless you've got practice on this. But if you've got a strong arm, you secure this so the other guy can't go anywhere. Now there's options. You can either rotate out of that, or you can drag him across or turn it into a tricep press. The idea of a tricep press is imagine you're forcing your arm open like that. You won't see it in the match. Essentially it will look like that. And the idea is that provided your shoulder is above your arm, it's a safe position. If your shoulder becomes lower than your arm, it's a dodgy position. Okay, so those are some key starts.